Today is January 6th, and for me, it's personal. In September 2024, shortly before the presidential election, I delivered a speech on the front steps of the Pennsylvania State Capitol building in Harrisburg entitled, "Donald Trump's January 6th Insurrection and Endless Corruption, Why Don't You Care?" Jan Murphy of PennLive Patriot News reported on my effort. Please see episode 3 for more details about my speech, but I want to emphasize 2 points. First, Donald Trump likes to accuse anyone who criticizes him of being a radical socialist Democrat. But I myself am a registered independent, and virtually all the people I quoted in my speech were Republicans. For example, Republican Senator Mitt Romney said the following when Congress convened on January 6 to certify the election results. "Today was heartbreaking, and I was shaken to the core. Now we gather due to a selfish man's injured pride and the outrage of his supporters, whom he has deliberately misinformed for the past 2 months and stirred to action this very morning. What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States, Republican Senator Mitt Romney." And Republican Senator Mitch McConnell said the following during Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. "January 6 was a disgrace. Fellow Americans beat and bloodied our own police. They built a gallows and chanted about murdering the vice president. They did this because they'd been fed wild falsehoods by the most powerful man on earth, because he was angry he'd lost an election. There is no question that President Trump is practically and morally responsible for provoking the events of that day." Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. And second, Trump waited over 3 hours before telling the rioters to disperse, which was a disgraceful dereliction of duty. As Senator McConnell noted, "The unconscionable behavior did not end when the violence began. Whatever our ex-president claims he thought might happen that day, by that afternoon he was watching the same live television as the rest of the world. A mob was assaulting the Capitol in his name. It was obvious that only President Trump could end this. Former aides publicly begged him to do so. But the president did not act swiftly. Instead, according to public reports, he watched television happily as the chaos unfolded. Even after it was clear to any reasonable observer that Vice President Pence was in danger, the president sent a further tweet attacking his vice president. I have made my view of this episode very plain." Republican Senator Mitch McConnell. As I noted in episode 7, moderates abhor political violence and violent rhetoric. The events of January 6 should never be forgotten.